interview some of the top coaches, top administrators, top technical directors, top coaches around the world to conversate with you, to share information for your growth and development. We have the pleasure today of having with us Mr. Tom Byer. He is just a cut above the rest. Tom is just a cut above the rest in terms of it. And later on, I'm going to share a story how I came about reading Tom's book last year. And if you go on my Facebook page, you will see a photo of it. Me just when we were locked down, you know, I had that book and I was reading the book, and here we have Tom with us today again. And just to give you some information of Mr. Tom Byer, he's internationally recognized and known for his work. He has been around over 22 countries around the world, invited to the Chinese Ministry of Education to work on programs in different countries in Asia to help and develop. And one of the things I'd let you know, as Tom was chatting just now, a lot of the players you're seeing in some of the top Asian teams, Tom is responsible for these players. Tom is the one that really put his print down, his hand down, and work with these kids in development, develop them in terms of all the work that he's doing. But furthermore, I would let Tom, you know, chat with you about it and enlighten you. And feel free to put your comments at the bottom of the page that we would be able to, you know, answer questions later on. Tom, thank you so much for we know it's you are in Tokyo, I believe, and it's 8 a.m. in the morning there, which you are the opposite side of the world. And I want to thank you so much for coming on with us this day, Tom.
Well, thank you, Coach Roy, and it's a pleasure to be here. And thank you for this opportunity to speak to your audience, which obviously is on the other side of the world. I'm over here in the Far East, but I know that the Caribbean is your passion and where you're trying to help out the most. So we're going to see if we can kind of give a helping hand here and give some ideas and some thought-provoking ideas to make people think a little bit outside the box of football development. So I'm very, very happy to be spending my Sunday morning with you. I'm a day ahead, so I can read into the future, and I can tell you that Sunday morning is going to be a very good day.
Yes. Quite interesting. Tom, feel free to dive in. You have worked with some of the top clubs around the world, the Dynamo Kievs, the Ajax, some of the biggest clubs around the world in sharing your message. Soccer begins at home with the younger ones and developing them. Feel free, Tom, the floor is yours. And we are sitting tight and we are here with our pens and paper ready to write notes so we can learn and grow and develop, Tom.
Sure. Well, you know, it all starts with, if you think of, and let's talk in the beginning about the men's side of the game, right? Because we do have the women's side and we have the men's side. But if you kind of consider that FIFA has 211 member association countries in FIFA. Now, on the men's side, out of that 211 member association countries, only 8 have won a World Cup tournament. So if you look at those 8 countries in South America, we have Brazil, Argentina, Uruguay. In Europe, we have Germany, Spain, France, Italy, and England. So when you start and you study the best countries that perform, you know, at the highest level of winning World Cup tournaments, consistently qualifying for World Cup tournaments, the countries that traditionally develop the best players, a lot of them come from the Latin countries. Well, what happened was I started to study these countries, and I kind of scratched my head thinking, well, why is it the same repeat serial winners and that are always at the top? So I wanted to see, okay, well, you know, being out here in Asia, where no country's ever won a World Cup tournament, I wanted to kind of search for, if there's a secret sauce in development, what is it? So I started to look into these countries and ask this question of, do they have more coaches? Do they have better educated coaches? Or do they have a better curriculum that they teach from? Do they have a better coaches education program? Do they have a better elite player pathway? And do they have better facilities? So I started looking at all of these great countries, and I came to the conclusion of kind of none of the above. Those didn't seem to be the kind of secret sauce that I was searching for. So then I started studying the great players of many different generations from years ago, decades ago, and then today. And I think we could all kind of agree on who the top players are today, right? Messi, Ronaldo, Suarez, Neymar, Iniesta, Pogba, Lewandowski, Cruz, Kane, these kind of players. And I started to see some common threads. I started to see that most of these players started playing and their culture of development started way earlier than the rest. And what I mean is that these players that I just named, all of them got their head start playing and being around a ball between the ages of 2 and 5. And that the role that the fathers played, sometimes the mothers as well, but in particular, a lot of times the fathers. And I started realizing that these countries that really developed the best players, their culture of development started way earlier than the rest. So that coupled with me being a technical director or a technical coach, not a director, technical coach most of my career, my coaching career, I consider myself a disciple of the Dutchman, the Will Curver, the Will Curver methodology, which focused on improving individual technical skills in young players. And so I had, it's a kind of a long story, but because of my media presence here in Japan, I do a lot of TV, a lot of events, work with a lot of brands and sponsors. I used to do a lot of events for children. And one day, literally, this is the genesis of football starting at home. I was doing an event for Adidas, which is was I've been their football ambassador for more than 2 decades. And after the event, they gave me these little replica balls, World Cup balls. It was 2006, so it was the 2006 German World Cup replica ball, and I was signing them autographs and giving them to kids. And literally, while I was holding the ball in my hands, I started thinking small ball, and my first son had just started walking. So I thought small ball, small foot for my child, small kid. So I literally turned my head over and I yelled to one of the Adidas guys, "Hey, send me a few of these balls to my house." So a huge box came that got delivered to my home with about 20 balls. And I thought, okay, well, what am I going to do with all these balls? So I took 2 or 3 balls and I put them in every room of my house. And to this day, they're still here. I've got balls all over my house. And because I'm a technical coach, I knew the importance of what we call ball mastery. So what I did was I discouraged kicking and I encouraged more of this ball mastery, ball touch, ball. There's lots of different words for it, but I discouraged the kicking. And so I could see observation wise that my son was becoming very interested in the ball. I could see him uh, trying to experiment with the ball more. I could see that he was always searching for my approval, for my attention, for my praise. And these are extremely important. And this is really what we do in soccer or football starts at home is we engage. So cutting to the chase here, I started to realize that culture and families played a massive role in football development. Now, this isn't to say that coaches aren't important. They are. I have an affection for coaches because I am one. But the reality is that when it comes to skill acquisition, it seems like the coach has a lesser role in it with the very, very earliest, youngest ages. So I basically created this library of videos showing what my son could do from the time he could walk with a ball. And much to my amazement, I created this library of videos now, and I took it around the world. What started out as a presentation, a PowerPoint presentation several years ago, that was maybe about 5 or 6 slides. Now today, my presentation is 287 slides. So I've basically created this philosophy and a little bit of a methodology that aids and helps parents understand what their role is for development. So if there is a secret sauce, and I don't claim to have it, but I think that we're close to it, it's that role that parents play with their children. And so when I was writing the book, which you read already, you probably remember, the foreword and the afterword for the book was written by Dr. John Rady, one of the foremost neuropsychiatrists in the world from Harvard Medical School, who's written a dozen books, most of them bestsellers. I was just on a call with Dr. Rady 2 nights ago for an hour, catching up with him. He's one of the most brilliant minds that we have. And his life study research has been focusing on kids in general, but people in general that are physically active and how that supercharges the brain, how physical activity impacts the brain in many, many ways. So I was very lucky because when we wrote the book, Football Starts at Home, I caught the attention of Dr. Rady. And so Dr. Rady took an interest in my work. And thank God I hadn't published the book yet. So he asked to read the manuscript. So when he read the manuscript, he loved the book, the content. So we wound up having him write a part, and we broke it up into the forward and the afterword for the book. And why that's important is because, first of all, I don't come from the academia, science, or medical world, but he does. But what happened is that he started to open up my eyes and a whole new world of this kind of neuroscience, this kind of the interaction and the importance of a parent interacting with a child. So when I started to show him the videos of my kids, and if I can share the screen, what you're looking at, I'm going to kind of analyze what you're looking at. You're not just looking at a child just playing with a ball. The what makes this special is the parents' participation. This video that you're looking at right now doesn't exist in the absence of a parent not being there. So what's happening is that the home serves as a very safe, protective environment where free play can happen. Now, but here's what I call the gift. It's the package, the present that we're going to unwrap and give to everybody. A parent's understanding of their child's need of always seeking attention and approval and praise. And what that does is it creates a chemical electrical process in the child, which is emotions. So when you can create an emotionally charged environment, that's where deep learning and long-term memory takes place. So when you see my boy here, he's playing because he's trying to please me. He's trying to please me. He's trying to get my attention. He's trying to get my praise. So this is really supercharging inside the home.
Tom, your kid is skillful, man. Come on, Tom.
Yeah.
He is skillful, Tom.
Yeah, well, this is the beginning stages. And what happens is that every child really has this ability. You know, talent identification is a phrase that's overused. It's exaggerated. Yes. What you're looking at is talent development, not talent identification, right? So when you look at here, what I want you to watch is when my boy is playing with the ball, you'll see how he occasionally glances up and he makes eye contact with me. That's his confirmation that I'm watching him. So watch this. Oh, yeah, now this is happening outside, right? Wow. He's 3 years old. Pull it back. He'll look up. Yep. He looks up to make sure daddy's paying attention. Oh, yeah, good. So that's what keeps him motivated. Nice show. This is what gets him moving. Pull it back. Pull it back. Yeah. Praise again. There, I'm praising him. Go. Step on it. He'll look up here again just to make sure I'm watching, like right here. Wow. Boom. There it is. Now, another thing that's really interesting is that, Coach Roy, when you watch this video, yes, what this is really teaching a child is perhaps one of the most important skills in life. Yes. And that is the skill of learning how to pay attention, focused attention. And when you teach a child from this very, very young age how to pay attention, you turn the learning switch on. So unless a child is paying attention or has focused attention, learning does not take place. and I'll show you why.